everybody. Welcome back to Sprueverse, my scale model universe, people of Earth. Welcome to part 2 of Build the Blue Midget from Red Dwarf. This is a cosmic scale models kit, and this is the sort of continuation of the build. Don't know if we'll get it finished in this update, but I'll gauge how well we're doing in terms of time, because I like to keep these updates to about an hour. Okay, when last we met, I was demonstrating the undercarriage, the wheel assembly. It's part 1, stage 1 of the instructions. And I very carefully held this up, showed you it close up, and did all of those things. Well, the wheel assembly was upside down. And the reason why I know it was upside down is because Keith over at Cosmic sent me an email going, Phil, I'm not sure you were aware. I mean, he's such a gentleman, right? Instead of saying, hey, how about building it the way it's supposed to be built? Oh, no. He's a gentleman. But anyway, Keith, bless you, thank you. They are now... it's all correct. And I've not glued my cogs down because he says not to, so that we can align our tracks to it. So we will do that. But I wanted to do a mea culpa right out of the gate because, hey, you know, what can I tell you? So anyway, here we are, and just to sort of carry on, we went to the next section, and it shows you where all the doors go, the windows, and everything has been painted in its base colors. I have not tackled these little elements here. The reason why I'm not tackling these elements yet, the smaller elements that you can see in the instructions. If I get my fat fingers out, there's a small ladder. There's a couple of these little sort of greebly hinged things, and I've not touched those. And the reason why I have not touched those yet is because those small details they tend to get lost. So I've left them on their trays, and we'll tackle those as a sort of final assembly. Okay, so moving right along, I have done several things. One is I put a base coat on. Now this is just a base coat of the blue, and it's got a little bit too much purple in it, but that's okay. It's a base coat. We're going to bring that blue out, and we're going to fade it down. So, but this is a good undercoat. It's had plenty of time to dry. It's nice and hard, and it gives us an opportunity to sort of just see what we're doing. Fortunately, it's only paint, so we can try again. Now, I'm sticking with rattle cans. I've been using Vallejos until I get to my extreme details, and then I'll drop down to an airbrush and really start to pick out some of the important details. But for this amount of paint, I'm using the Vallejo rattle cans, and they're available in many colors. And as I mentioned last time, I reached out to my local hobby shop and said, Glenn, can you send me a few more blows? And he said, I'll send you what I got. So he did. He sent me what he has, and I think they're going to work. I've got a much more sort of true blue, and then I've got a faded blue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a coat of that on all of these, and we'll take a look at that. But before I do, I just wanted to show you that I've made a decision that we're going to keep for the lighting here. We're going to be hiding it, as Keith suggested, behind this plate. And to that end, what I've done is I put a couple of magnets in here, and they make that go away quite nicely. So that is handled, and we can work on that a little more. I am most likely going to sort of dust the inside of this with probably a little white, just to sort of, you know, give it some refraction, because I do want to put a little light behind these portholes, just to show that, you know, it's sort of active and working. The other thing that I'm going to need to do, and I'm not going to do it just yet, is, but I wanted to show you because I do think it's important. This shelf here, it is going to be in a sort of an off-white, and that off-white comes down over here, and it continues on as part of this little shelf right here. This shelf here, I can get you closer so you can see it. This is the shelf I'm talking about, and that's the undercarriage right there. And the reason why that is because the Blue Midget logo is going to sit on that, and it needs to appear as though it's continuing and wrapping itself around. At least that's how it looks in this. Yeah, there we go. Well, you can see here, it's an off-white. I'm going to use an off-white, and it wraps itself around so it appears to go inside of this exposed sort of engine area. So we're gonna have to be doing that. But what I want to do right away is I want to get another coat on that so we can start to dial in the blue, because then we can start to look at how we're going to what parts we're going to be able to assemble, because we've got lighting that has to go in here. I did reach out, as I mentioned, to Randy over at Voodoo. He did send me a board. It's a beautiful board, but I don't think it works for this, but it's definitely going to work for a Randy Cooper resin build-up that I'm going to be doing a little later next year. So I think I'm going to go back to a light here, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it most likely will be a blue light, I believe. I'm not sure, just because the front headlight is white, and I wanted a little contrast. So, so there you are. That's where we are. I have been working on my figures, and I started just to sort of get their jackets on them. Let me pull all of them over here so we can see. And I've used some really nice colors. Now, don't forget, these are going to be inside. You're not going to see an awful lot of that, but I'm really happy with these base colors that I've been using. So here we are. And they're really going to, they differentiate themselves quite nicely. So I'm really happy with that, and I'll continue to sort of pick away at my figures. But for now, I just sort of setting them aside for now, because we've got too much to do. Okay, so glad you're along on this journey with me. Welcome back. Enough bloviating. Let's get another coat of blue on here and see if we can dial this in and get it a little closer. Back on details, and I'm starting to pick out the colors in these indented engine boxes. So I started off with my flat black, hit it with my bare metal silver, and then I started to dust it with some very light brass. And then I'm picking out the pipage right now with my steel. I'm using just a regular steel. And so I'm just starting to pick that out, and we'll just build on that and build on that and build on that. And then I went over to the wheel assembly, and this has the Citadel flat black as the base. Then I went over these with the bare metal silver just to keep some continuity. And now what I've been doing is I'm doing some dry brushing with the light brass, and I'm really liking this contrast. I really feel like it's giving the piece a really nice kind of interesting feel. And we'll sort of continue to play with this, but I'm liking the way this is starting to look, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm going to continue down this path because it feels good. It feels good. Feels good. And we'll just keep dialing it in and dialing it in until we get something that we really like. The interesting thing about the harshness of the studio lights is sometimes they hit these colors, these paints, and it doesn't really explain what I'm doing, but I think you can see the contrast. I hope you can see the contrast. And it's also for me to just sort of continue to memorialize what it is that I'm doing and the steps that I'm taking to try and build up the color and get everything to where I'm happy with it. And you know, your model is your model. You paint it the way you want to. If you want to try and get it as close to the studio models as you can, knock yourself out. Kevin, a subscriber of mine, suggested that make sure I put a lot of mud on these wheels. Well, I don't know, Kevin, if I'm going to do that, but we're certainly going to age everything up. And of course, Keith over at Cosmic has done a fantastic job just giving us some production information, and he's done a lot of research. So he's really sort of showed us the way here in terms of what these start to look like. But I'm really happy with where this is going, and we're gonna sort of continue to just pick at it and play with it. And you know, the key here is just contrast and dynamics. For me, it's to make sure that whatever you're doing, it constantly feels like it's got some nice energy to it. So I'm going to continue to punch away at these. Take a look at this on the close-up camera if you want to, just to sort of see what we're doing. It's not much, but it's just starting to play with color, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to continue to get pick out the pipes with the steels. Work on this, and then we'll start to put some washes on to try and dirty these down, and we'll definitely also take a look at that process for sure. Okay, moving right along, I have been just spending a lot of time on my dry brushing and just plucking out details. So what I've got here is the basic sort of setup for these boxes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind these down and give these some washes before I'm ready to install, just because it's a lot easier for me to do this on the bench. But I've got them basically how I want them, so that's good. And then I've done the same with these smaller units, which let me just show you these, get these just a little closer for you. And you can see here that I've just been doing a little bit of fine detailing, and then we'll add some pin washes and some grime and some stuff. And then obviously, you know, those will be ready to install, but we'll do finals once everything's together, just to make sure that everything looks the way it should. I've had a little bit of color there, as you can see, just because, you know, why not? But now what I wanted to concentrate on is these tracks. And the instructions ask you not to glue in the sort of the cogged, the toothed wheel, which they are referring to as it's being referred to as the drive wheel. And here's the drive wheel. And what they're asking you to do, what the instructions are saying is do not glue this in until you've test fitted your tracks, because otherwise you're going to have a difficult time getting this together. So I followed my instructions. Unlike earlier, Keith, I'm paying attention now, Keith. I promise. Because I know he watches, and if he watches and something's wrong, he's going to be on me, and I appreciate it very much. He's a good man. Okay, so basically what I did was I test fitted this lower track here, and I made sure that it is flush to the track. And it sits in there beautifully. And then what you're able to do is with the tab side, because it corresponds with this tab, you're able to drop this down on top of it and it sits nicely. So now on both sides, those can be locked in. Moving on to some lighting. I'm juggling quite a few balls right now, and that's okay. That's what it's all about. It's sort of the fun of it. Back on the large Bell engine that goes in the rear of this machine, and I've decided to go with a blue light, just a plain blue light. I may pulse it. I don't know. I have a board that can do that, but we'll see. But the fun thing about it is I've got this wonderful, I don't know what you would call it. It's definitely diffusion, but it makes a wonderful effect. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but do you see how it's making that wonderful? Let me get rid of that. It's making that wonderful effect. So it's this dimensional plastic sheeting that I got from Randy Newbert over at Voodoo Effects. He sends me this stuff when I buy some of his effects kits. It comes in it as a diffuser, and it's really fun stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop this down the old gullet here, and I'm going to use a little bit of microcrystal clear just to hold that in place, and then we'll take a look at that because it's a fun effect. Okay, so let me get out. Let me just get out a little bit of this and get it just around the bottom of the bell here, and then we can drop this in place. Get my tweezers, and down we go. Love the effect. It's really creating a lovely moire too from the sort of psychedelic nature of this three-dimensional plastic card, the diffusion. Very cool. So I'm very happy with that. I would say that is a result. And so we can move on now, knowing that we've got that handled. I am going to do a little bit of dry brushing on the inside, just with some sort of soot, just to play that up a little bit. But very happy with that. That's awesome. Okay, so that takes care of the rear engine. Now, there's one other thing that I'm thinking about doing, and that is I'm going to add some. I think I'm going to add some white light to just sort of pick out the that the lights are on inside. So for that, I'm going to use just a little bit of SMD strip, maybe just a three button SMD, and that should be plenty of glow for that. And then perhaps we might have to isolate that because we've got blue light that we want to punch through the rear of the cockpit there. And there's also an opportunity to get some light in these grills right here. I was thinking, it's sort of, I don't know, you're going to see it. And I think there's an opportunity here to get some light behind these grills. So I'm going to add some diffusion to them and get some light on them because I think that's worth it. I think that'll be fun. Okay, so we've got the corridor I'm going to hook up. We've done the engine bell. We've got the headlight. That light comes with the kit, the headlight. I did just rough it up a little bit just to make sure that it gets a nice diffusion on it. And then, of course, we've got the window light, and I think that's about it for lighting for me. There's no nav lights or anything else like this. You certainly could put them on. They weren't on the original filming miniature. There was not a lot going on that filming miniature. Okay, I'll get all this situated, and then we'll get the actual fuselage back on the bench, and we'll start to look at what we can actually pre-assemble now. Okay, I've been playing around with the cockpit, and I've made a little bit of progress. Basically what I did, I used the masking set that Keith provides with the kit, which is extraordinary. And I masked off all of the screens I wanted to light. I put a coat of Citadel black on to give me my my light blocking coat. And then I dusted it with some insignia gray, or insignia white is what it's called. It's my go-to spaceship white. And then after I did that, I've started picking off some of the control surfaces and panels with some of my Display acrylic felt pens, which are a lot of fun to use. And I'm just finishing up the last of the masking here. And this is the reverse side of it, so we'll take that off. And you can see that we've left plenty of opportunity to light this. This is the ceiling portion, so that's all done. So that's good. And I think if I hit it with a little bit of a flashlight here, you can see that it's a result. So those are going to look pretty nifty, and I'm really happy with that. And he gives us some decals to put over there. We just have to hit some light behind it. So the other thing I think I am going to do, though, is I'm going to get some of the lights up front and mostly in the rear here, where you can really see it behind them. I'm gonna hit this this rear panel here. I'm going to drill these out, and I'm going to get some fiber optics in there because I think it's worth it. And we've got a couple of Evans Design Blinky that we may put there, although I think that might be a little too distracting. We'll see. Oh, we've also got these side panels here, which I haven't taken off yet. And they're going to create some light too. So I can remove all of these. And then we'll be ready to put some blue light behind those. Okay, so I've gotten a little ahead of myself, but it's a good thing. We have got a true blue on here now from Vallejo, and it's much better. It's a much better. I think it's a much better representation than what I had before. But I've still got a lot to do. So what I've been doing is I've been doing some dusting here, just to lay in some other colors. This happens to be a game blue. It's called Wolf Gray, and it's sort of a bluish gray, and I've used that just to start playing with highlights. And as you can see, I've just sort of test fitted this element here just to see what it looks like. But one of the things that I wanted to sort of dive into right now is when I take these elements apart, you'll notice that I've got the cockpit inside. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to make sure that all of these elements went together well. There was just a little bit of warpage here, but that's to be expected. That'll tighten up when I get a little bit of glue on it. But that slides in quite nicely. One of the things I was a little concerned about, but for no reason, is when you put the front of the cockpit on here, and everything keys in quite beautifully, that I needed the front section, this bumper section, to kiss all the way up in front of the cockpit here, because when you sort of get this in and you slide it all the way down, you want to really give it a little bit of a tug, just to make sure that you are seated correctly. The reason for that is because I just want to pay attention before I glue anything in to this little gap right here. I want that to go away. So I just need to make sure that I'm together correctly. And it's a little hard to do that until this is glued down. And so now, which means that I've got two things I have to do. The first thing is I've got to make sure that I get my light installed here. And I have that. That is here. And that's my white floodlight. And this is the 5mm that is provided to you with the kit. And it's actually just to make sure, in case you're like me and you're liable to put it in upside down, and I am. Keith was kind enough to make sure that I know that is the top. Now, I'm assuming and hoping that that's on every single kit that he sends out, and not just mine. Although I wouldn't put it past him, knowing what I've done to his kits in the past. But we get there in the end, and we get a really good result. So, okay, you can see here that that is on. And so this just needs to get what I've been doing, I've been dry brushing this with just a little bit of the copper, because I like the way that looks. And then we'll finish this up with I'm using this this Comcast. It's called Light Dust, and it's really nice at getting things blended in. We may also do a light blue as well, just overall, just to create some patchy, just to sort of blend everything together, because I have started to put these sort of funny panel lines on here that appear on the model. So I've just put them randomly as I saw them, and then we'll obviously blend all this in and soften it back. This is loose as well, but there's an awful lot to sort of figure out now, because one of the things I was hoping to do is I was hoping to actually get some light here. Let me put this aside, in these grills. And these grills provide a great opportunity to pour some light in, because you can see down this corridor. Now, we do have downlights. So at the end of the day, we're going to be able to put the downlight in there, because there is a clear piece he provides that will allow us to do that. But I wanted to put a little bit of light here. However, what I've discovered is that when you, and let me try to sort of put this in here without forcing anything, because nothing. And I've also I have not glued it in, but I've got this element, as you can see in the side here. It's a separate box, and when you slide everything together and you push this together like suchiness, when you look down the throat of this, there is a small opportunity for me to get an SMD strip back there, I think. However, I don't know how harsh and intense that's going to be. I'm going to diffuse it the best I can, but I don't know if it'll wash out, it'll drown out these downlights. And the downlight is sort of a fun element here. Now, I don't think I can get my flashlight in there to do anything for you to see. No, we can't. I can't do that, but I will. I'm going to put some lights together and we'll take a look at it, because I'm just wondering if the downlight is a better opportunity to wash light on the floor and leave this alone. But when you do look through the cockpit, it is fun to look all the way back there. Isn't that fun? So I'm pretty stoked about that, and I'm feeling like when everything is together, that I should have a decent amount of light. I'll have light coming out of my headlight, my cockpit as well, and then of course the rear engine. And I'm also hoping to get just a little bit of light out of these portholes. So that is that. So that's where we are. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to getting the tracks for the wheel assembly all detailed out and finished, and set those aside, because I've just got a little bit of work to do on those. I'm now ready to glue everything together permanently, so we'll get that done, and then we'll move on to getting the cockpit completed. So I've sort of got the lighting plan together now, and I'm executing it because you got to move forward. Now, Keith has very kindly been helping me a little bit here. We've been talking about the possibility of doing something other than a decal over these screens. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So what I have is everything is light blocked, and my screens in front here are going to be white, and I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. I don't have everything chained together, so it's not going to be, but it's not going to be perfect here. But you can see how I'm getting light to these screens, and a decal over these should be fine. Now that light in the corner, the left one, don't worry, because what I'm doing is, if I flip this over and show you my setup here, I've set my lights up almost like little floodlights. These are from Evans Design. They're SMD LEDs, and I am using chip is the size. That's the size, chip. And so what that allows me to do is to essentially use these like floodlights, and these wires, these magnetic wires that these are pre-resisted to, do a really nice job of sort of allowing you to work on what you're doing. So that's all ready to go, and the model is clever in as much as we've got this wonderful the thought process that went into this. So there's your channel for your wiring, and that can drop down. There's a place for it to drop down below the platform, that the cockpit platform that that forms the base of the cockpit, and under there, and you can channel those all the way to the back where we're going to put the battery. So that's good. And so now all I'm going to do is take my green SMDs, and here these are, and I'll get one of these lit up for you. Let's see here. There we go. Come on, behave. There we go. So we have these wonderful green chips, and they'll color and punch to the cockpit, and it comes alive. And we'll have some, obviously, light coming down from the rear ceiling, and the blue lights coming from the slits at the side, and that's all ready to go. I just need to get my blue light on that. So there'll be plenty of light in this cockpit, and I think that it should show quite well. I have abandoned the idea of putting blinkies in, I think, only because what I don't have at the moment is a board that I'm happy with for these kinds of cockpits, and I'll get something designed and made. I think I might reach out to Ralph over at Tenor Controls, or even Randy, and get something designed and made for me. Because what I want it to do, actually I have another source too now, which I might reach out to. But the point I'm making is that if I get a board that has a really nice, like, it blinks a couple of times, say in red over here, and then it moves to a panel and chip there, and then it moves. then you've got something that's not sort of, you know, random flashing. Evans does a nice job, but they don't have anything like that, and nor does Ralph, to my knowledge. He did used to carry a computer board that was just for random lighting, but I've not seen that on his site in a while. I could ask him about it. But anyway, that's something for 25, is to come up with a universal board for cockpits that at least at this scale makes sense. But anyway, more on that later, I suppose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to get this all cleaned up. And then hopefully at that point we will be able to start, you know, putting some of the either the translite or the decals. I've got some translite sheets coming today that I can put in my laser printer, so we might test that. We'll see how that looks. There, this entire sheet of clear parts for the windows, the portholes in the windows. It's all laser cut, and it's got a protective film on it. Very cool, very smart. Okay, I have put permanently these boxes in, as we know, and I've started to put some washes and some mud and some detail work in these. For my washes, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Ultimate's weathering wash. Now, these are the thing about these washes that are so terrific is they're water based. It's clay in essence, and boy is it fun to work with. You can just slosh it on as hard as you want, and it comes right off with a little Q-tip and some water, so a cotton bud and some water. Very cool. And so it's just a lot of fun to work with, and it's just one of those elements, you know, one of those things you should have in your kit. I'm not paid to say that. I know I sound like a broken record, but hey, if I've got a product that I enjoy using and it works, I'm going to share it. Okay, so things are progressing. We're at a point now where we can start seriously thinking about permanently installing the cockpit, but that's as soon as we check out these transparencies that I'm about to print. So let's check those out. And the reason why I wanted it on transfer film is because when I think I'm going to get just a better diffusion with this, and also I think get just a little more punch, a little more detail with these, but I'm not sure. I don't know. All I know is that I'm going to do it, and we'll take a look and see if it works, because we've got a little bit of a hot spot with these SMD chips, but that's okay. I think with these translights or transparencies, we should be okay. This is a fun way, by the way, also to create wonderful graphics for screens in your models if you've never done it. Very simple to do. It's just transparency film, and it's printed on your LaserJet, and it did a beautiful job. Okay, so I'm going to carefully cut these out, drop them in the screens, and that will allow us to start to work on getting all of this closed up, and that will be exciting because that's a huge leap forward. Okay, let's get the rear engine installed, and that's going to sit like that, and we're just going to attach that with a little bit of glue and let that set up, and then we can figure out how these wires are going to get fished eventually. But until this is actually installed, we're not going to be able to know that. So this is going down with just a little bit of CA glue. Will hold this in place, no problem. and just a little bit on the inside, because the way these are designed, they sit nicely. So we'll just let that set up. We'll let this set up, and we'll continue to install some of the parts that need to go on here. What I'm going to do now is complete the lighting here for the cockpit area, and to do that, I've got a little bit of cob that I'm going to just attach to the side grills here, thinking and hoping that it's going to be thin enough that it will slide down here, because one of the issues I've got is I've got these two boxes, and because the cockpit unit here slides in like this, I'll sort of just do it clumsily with all this gook, but you'll see I don't have a lot of room. So I am hoping and praying that I can actually get my cob lighting in here. I think I can. I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. If I can't, I will abandon that idea. But I'm going to try, because I think some ambient light down there would be really good. Just to sort of think about the design of this again, I don't know what you could do other than perhaps make this a little this fuselage a little wider, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, so let me get these wires in, test the cob lighting for the grills, and report back. Kicking and screaming we got there. I've got some light leaks, and I've got a little bit of a seam I have to clean up. But the added bonus here was that I actually got the floor lit up. All the blue lights are in. I don't know. Yes, I can. You are going to be able to see this. Just, do you see? Look, the floor is lit up, and that is just amazing. So I've got my blue lit up in the wall, and I managed to get the floor lit up, which is extraordinary. Now I've got a little bit of light leakage I've got to work on, and I have a little bit of a seam issue. I had a difficult time with putting this together because I used so many lights. If you're going to do fiber optics, if you're going to do anything that flashes, all of this nonsense, you really need to make sure that, now there is room, there's plenty of room here, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of room here to pull wires. So Keith's done an amazing job. 99.9 times out of 100, it's methodology and it's human mistakes. But it came together quite beautifully. So what I've got to do now is I've just got to go through here and clean up a little bit of these light leaks. There's one on this side and just a little one on this side. Nothing major. So we'll get that done and cleaned up, and then we'll start looking at getting the rear fuselage attached as well, because everything now has to go umbilically to my battery pack. So everything is working, and I'm thrilled about that. But I do have a light leak here. Now I might be able to fix that light leak internally, which would be a really good thing to do. So all my wires are coming out the back quite nicely. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort of try to fix this light leak because I've got blue light coming up from the floor. It is compromising the underneath here, and because I didn't think about I was going to actually have light in there, I didn't think about light blocking it. But you know, at the end of the day, it's probably a very good rule of thumb to light block everything. If you're going to light anything, light block everything, and then you don't have to think about it or worry about it. Okay, I'm going to get that done. We're going to get the business end of this, the rear of this, attached, because once this is all attached and sitting on its own, we can really focus on detailing it out, and then it's going to get a good coat of clear gloss so I can get my decals down. Okay, so I have not permanently attached the front of the fuselage to the rear of the fuselage just yet. I've got all of my wiring coming out of the rear here, and here it is. Sort of all of the guts of it are coming out. And so what I need to do now is I need to just hook everything up and make sure that my connections are good. So I'm going to do that, and then once I know everything is working, I'm going to permanently attach the battery to the battery box, and then everything will be lit. Then I can just start on all the refinements, the washes, lots of the little greeblies and details that are not on here, and of course my decals. So, but this is a big deal because this is the point. This is going to be the point of no return once this is sealed. So I have to make absolutely sure that everything is on. So I'm going to put these connections together right now. Then we'll fire it up, and then once we know that it is all fired up, then I can go ahead and permanently attach the rear to the rear of the business section to the front, and then we can start final details. I've trimmed them all out, and I've put them in front of me. Now, according to the instructions, there are only a few critical ones. So let me point those out to you. The critical ones are my other spaceship is a Red Dwarf, and that goes on the rear of the ship. Obviously the Blue Midget logo, which we're going to put right here just below this engine compartment. And then you've got some triangles and some other stickers here. You've got this little sort of zipper effect which goes over here by the door, right here by the door. And then there's a few other little JMCs. There's a green JMC, and of course there's this little sucker right here, which let me see if I can put this on the close-up camera for you, because I don't know when. My friends in the UK can tell me, because I don't know. But this is your registration. Come on, let me get it there. There we go. This is the registration. It's super tiny, and the registration belongs in the window. For up until I don't know when, you had to have your disc. It was called a disc, at least it was when I was a kid, and you paid for your car registration, and that's had to be displayed on the windshield of your car. I think they've changed all that now, but it is certainly going to be fun to see if we can get that on. Final detail on. I've got a couple of little doodads, but everything is on, and she's looking wonderful. So what I'm going to do now is just get those little doodads on, and then we're going to do some washes. All of these heavy ridges right here that you see, we need to get some dirt in there. I want to deal with these tanks. They need to be cleaned up and roughed up a little more and made a little more tank-like. I've got some rivets I want to touch up too. But while it's in its gloss state, it's going to be a lot easier for me to get the washes on. So I'm going to get these final little doodads on, and then I'm going to start working on pin washes. But it's looking really good. Looking really good. I'm using a couple of washes. I'm going to use a clay-based wash. This is from Flory. And I'm using some panel liner, some accent dark brown for the deeper recesses. The reason why is because while I still have it in its gloss state, the panel liner will take to that, and it'll go into a lot more cracks and crevices, and so that'll really be helpful. On the other hand, the clay won't like the slick surface because it's water-based. So once we hit this with a mat, we can do some final dusting and dirt, and that'll be fine. That'll just cake up and dry, and that should look pretty good. So as you can see, all I have to do is just take my little brush and just, if you touch it at the top and you're careful, you don't have a lot of mess, and you can just literally let this do its thing. And it will travel. And the nice thing about this is it won't give me too much mess, but it will travel. And then when I just follow the sort of the obvious plane of it, which is sort of which is down, which is how the water would travel, you get these sort of extra streaks, and that's a good thing. And anything you don't like, you can just clean up with a little enamel thinner. It's just a little bit, and that'll all go away. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep going. You can see these here. I can touch those, and if you're careful, you don't have really any cleanup, but you can see what it's doing to those lines. It's really picking them out, and that's what we're trying to do here. And again, I'm just using the browns, not the blacks, because I think it's just more in keeping with the overall sort of theme of what I'm doing. But you can see that's gone on quite well. And again, anything I don't want can just come up with some thinners, and I'll be doing a little more of the sort of dirting down of everything. So this is me going into wash mode, and that will be it for this model. We'll come back. I'll get some beauty shots of it. We'll get it on the turntable, and we'll have some final thoughts. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. You know, it's my second year going to Telford in England to their incredible IPMS scale model show. If you can ever do a pilgrimage to that event, well worth it. And of course, Cosmic Scale Models has a very impressive booth that Keith and Adele run for the event, and all of the Cosmic Scale Model kits are available for sale there, including Aztec dummy masks and paragraphics, and all kinds of detail stuff, fun stuff. And of course, this year he was featuring the Blue Midget from Red Dwarf. How could you resist? How could you absolutely resist? What a wonderful, wonderful model. And Keith had done such an incredible job at designing this and bringing it to market. So a big thank you to Keith over at Cosmic Scale Models, not just for providing us with hours of fun, but also for his support of the channel and all he does for us here over at Spruverse. Without him, things would be a lot more challenging. So bless you, Keith, and thank you for all your support. And what can I say? Hey, let's take a look at some beauty shots right now. So there it is, the Blue Midget in 32nd scale from Cosmic Scale Models. And what a joy to build during this holiday season. I highly recommend you finding the Cosmic Scale website and seeing if you can grab one of these for yourself. You won't be disappointed. Hey, if you want to get a hold of me, I am spruverse@gmail.com. I post most days on my Instagram account, which is, of course, @Spruverse. Buy me a cup of coffee. The link is on my channel page. Hey, this is a wonderful time of year for reinventing yourself, for getting all of your ducks in a row so you can prepare for 25. Let's make it an awesome year for building. I can't thank each and every one of my subscribers enough for all of your kindness and your support. And let's just keep on going. 25 is going to be an awful lot of fun. We've got some very special stuff on the horizon. And if it all goes to plan, it's going to be a great year. But hey, as always, please, I wish all of you be safe, be well, build something, and I'll see you next year. Take care, everybody. Be well.